Well, she's Strategic Leadership and Team Facilitator, certified in Lego Serious Play, business coach as well as an author and the author of the book Start Your Second Act. None other than Miss Shannon Russell.
Hey, Daniel. So great to see you.
Welcome back, Miss Shannon, again to one of my podcasts. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, you got it. So, in addition to being a business coach, I'm also a team facilitator and I work with corporations and companies doing Lego Serious Play.
Definitely something good, Miss Shannon. Here at Entrepreneurship 101, we celebrate you with my cheering squad. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And today we will talk about, well, of course, being you. You have a background as a television producer in New York and Los Angeles. How does producing a TV show prepare someone to facilitate strategic leadership for corporate teams?
I think from working in that industry specifically, it's very team based because you're working with that one goal of getting that television show to air. And so all the pieces move together, you support each other. And so I've been in many meetings where one or two people speak, and now a lot of people don't get their thoughts across. And so I think now working with teams to help facilitate a combined goal and really take action on their plan has, my past experience has helped a lot because I see what's worked and what hasn't. And again, trying to bring that team together is what I do now.
Well said, Miss Shannon. For a listener who has never heard of a Lego serious play, what is it, and why could a CEO take it seriously?
Yeah, Lego is something fun that a lot of us have, experience with as children, playing and building with those little plastic bricks. And so many years ago, leads at the Lego group created this methodology, which is basically building with Lego bricks to be able to show others what you're thinking. And so, in using this as a methodology in facilitating team building and kind of strategic planning with corporations, I'm able to have everyone be equal and be on the same playing field because they all have the same Lego bricks in front of them and it's 100% participation. So everyone has to build, they then have to share, and then they have to give feedback. So no one is above the other. Everyone is on the same playing field, and they're really starting to see their coworkers or other executives in a different light because they're seeing not just what they're saying with their mouths, but what they're building with their hands. So I think we see a lot of action and team building happening in this kind of a workshop or offsite or leadership retreat than we do in months and months of boring meetings.
Well done, Miss Shannon. You say teams get more done in one of your workshop than in a month of a traditional meetings. What is the secret ingredients that makes that possible?
I think again, it's just what I call the power of play. It's not in a childish way, but in a way for us to get away from the screens and the presentations and the apps and AI and get back to the basics of human to human conversations. And with the Lego bricks being a part of that, you're able to take a prompt that I work with the event organizer to create based on your team's goals or a president of a company's, need to kind of resolve an issue or move forward on a project. And I give the team members this prompt or this question, and they look at their bricks and they start building their idea 3D. And so then they're able to portray their idea for the project or maybe an issue that they're having with a coworker through their model that they just built. And so it's being able to represent that, I guess, in a different way makes it become very therapeutic So you're able to see how someone else feels based on that 3D model rather than them just talking at you or to you. And this brings it, you know, in a more tactical way, in a more memorable because you're building and it's something different than just watching a presentation on your computer screen.
Interesting, Ms. Shannon. In today's tech heavy, remote first workplace, human connection is suffering. How does hands on method like Lego Serious Play bridge that gap?
It does. It gets you back to just using your imagination and your creativity and ideally what you were hired for in the first place, right? Your skills. And you're taking all of that tech away and you're sitting across from someone else and you're able to build and collaborate because you're building something to get your idea across, but then you're also collaborating and you're building models together with others. And it takes just bricks and your voice and your mind really and your hands, right? It's what you have on you as a person rather than relying on chat or relying on a presentation or an app or technology. You're getting back to basics and you're having these conversations and you're getting your points across in a more 3D visual way. So I think for in that sense, you're getting a break from that tech. And tech has its place, of course, but this is a way of getting back to almost that analog advantage, right? Just getting back to basics
Mhm.
and being able to have those conversations in a really impactful way where you can see and hear what someone is saying.
Indeed, have a break, have a Kit Kat, as they saying. Have you built or you build or sold a successful franchise business? What was the hardest leadership lesson you learned as a business owner that now informs you? Facilitate teams.
I love that question, Daniel. That is such a great question. I've actually never thought about that. But when I had my franchise, I ran it for over 8 years. And my team that I grew in that organization was everything to me. And I was a very active part of the team and in conversations with everyone all the time. And so when I thought about selling, I wanted to sell in a way where everyone was still safe. I was
Hmm.
passing the reins on the business, but I wanted all of my employees to still have work. And in finding someone to purchase my business, everyone was able to still have their work and still keep their livelihood. And that was really important to me. And then still keeping in touch with everyone afterwards. I still want to know what everyone's up to and what they're doing with their personal lives and work. And, just keeping that relationship. That I think the relationship part of any business is the most important. It's that communication and really making sure that you're having a relationship and not just a transactional one, but a true, I want to know about your family. I want to know about what makes you tick rather than just, okay, do your job and shut up. Like I want to have
Hmm.
that really one on one relationship. And that made me realize that I want that in every business I build. And now with working with teams, I see that communication is the first thing to break down. And so now I'm able to really help foster those relationships when I'm working a workshop or at an event with a client.
Well done, Miss Shannon. You host the Build Better Teams podcast. What is the single most common mistake you see leadership teams making when trying to improve collaboration?
I think it's having the right intention, right? We all have the right intention for our teams and the work that needs to be done, but it's having a meeting, thinking that we've ticked all the boxes, we've done it, and then leaving without a plan. I think that is the number one thing is that there's no follow-up to that well-intentioned meeting. And so I think in creating a meeting of any kind, Lego serious play or another, you want to know who does what after the meeting, right? Where's that follow up? Who is taking responsibility of what needs to be done next? Because if not, you're just going on your day and you're forgetting that meeting and nothing is actually changing in the organization.
Mm, definitely. And Ms. Shannon, you also run Second Act Success Coaching for Women in Career Transitions. How does your work with individuals differ from your work with the corporate teams?
I love my work with individuals. I love seeing women make that career transition and build a business. And I also love businesses that I work with through Build Better Teams be able to actually build their businesses and grow. So I think I'm able to help individuals and teams grow in both those businesses. But yeah, I just love again the relationship aspect of really getting to know my one-on-one clients and then my corporate clients really having these conversations before the event, before the workshop, where we're planning what do you want to get out of our time together? Let's talk about it. Let's plan. And that's really nice to have those relationship building conversations prior to the event and then again afterwards to make sure that they really got what they needed from our time together.
Definitely. You wrote Start Your Second Act. What inspired you to write that book, and who needs to read the most right now?
Oh, I think anyone who feels stuck where they are, maybe in midlife, maybe getting laid off from a job, or you know thinking about starting a business. But for me, it was when I left my television career and I thought, okay, what is next? I need to start over. And I got into entrepreneurship. And many businesses later, I just decided to write this book to help others who feel like they're in that messy middle of trying to figure out what else they can do. And in the book, I really talk about different ways that you can evaluate your past experience so you can start planning whatever you want your second act to be.
A second act, yes, definitely. And can you walk us through a before and after example of a team that come to you stuck in endless meetings that left with a clear, actionable strategic plan?
Absolutely. One that comes to mind is I worked with a pharmaceutical company a couple of years ago, and they were having issues where they were trying to combine several of their offices from around the world into, I believe it was just one main location. And there was a lot of meetings about this and a lot of worry. A lot of employees worried about their jobs, a lot worried about what's going to happen to their particular team when outsiders come in. And so we had a big offsite meeting where we brought in Lego Serious Play and we facilitated questions about what are you worried about? How do you view your role once this merger is complete? And we really got some information about what these employees were thinking, what they were worried about. And the leaders that hired us were able to go back and really pinpoint exactly what was being feared and move forward. And they weren't able to do that via meetings and Zooms, but they were able to do it by really seeing what everyone was thinking through building with their Lego models. And that was very eye opening, I think, for all of us to say, wow, okay, this really is like therapy in a sense, because you're able to feel like you're in a comfortable space, building with something that's fun and comfortable, and you're able to express your feelings. And it helped that corporation be able to really make that transition a little bit less rocky for their team.
Well said, Miss Shannon. What role does fine play in serious strategic work? Do you ever get pushback from a leader who think play has no place in the boardroom?
I haven't gotten pushback, but I do say that sometimes when I go into a workshop or an event, I'll get the eye rolls when they find out what
Mm.
we're doing as the, activity. And I see that and I smile and my team and I get ready and they get the bricks in front of them and I give them their prompt and they start building and the whole room usually goes quiet. There's complete silence. And now those people who rolled their eyes are head down building. And that is the coolest thing to witness. I remember once I did an activity just last spring, and the organizer came up to me and she was worried. She said, "Why is everyone so quiet? Is this normal?" And I said, "Yes, it is normal. They're building, they're thinking." And it was very cool. And then they just, when they have a chance to explain what they built, their shoulders drop and they're proud of what they created and they're proud to be able to get their voice heard where it might not have been in a meeting. So, yeah, the eye rolls go away very quickly once they start touching those bricks.
Certainly. You have over 16 years of production experience. How does a television producer mindset, deadline, storytelling, resource management apply to facilitating a leadership offsite?
Oh, that's a good question. So much in being a producer and just working in the entertainment industry in production is organization. It's communicating, it's staying on schedule, and it's having systems in place. And so that prepared me for entrepreneurship more than I ever knew until I took that leap, because I am a type A person who is extremely organized and I'm goal focused, and that's what I needed to build my first business and then my second and now my third. And it's just staying focused, knowing what that end goal is, surrounding me by people who can help me build that, leaning on my strengths and hiring when I need to have others support me, and really create those relationships as far as marketing and partnering, and then getting that business out there. And so I think producing television, bringing an idea onto the screen has helped me so much, and take a business idea and bring it out into the world.
Hmm. Interesting, Miss Shannon. You have built two distinct brands, Build Better Themes and Second Act Success. How do you manage your own energy and leadership across two different missions?
That's very interesting, because only within the last couple of months did I completely detach both brands. I was working them both under my Second Act Success brand for the past few years. And then I just recently decided, you know what? I don't want any confusion.
Mm.
And so I just recently rebranded Build Better Teams as a separate business, separate podcast, separate everything. And it's actually made things a lot easier in my brain. So now I am doing the same amount of work, maybe a little bit more, but it's keeping everything really clear. And so now I have, one-on-one clients who want to build businesses come over to Second Act Success, and corporate teams and partners come to me for team building facilitation over at Build Better Teams. So it's my mind, being type A, really works better with systems and having things very clear. So now I feel like I finally have that, which is nice.
Well said, Miss Shannon. You help women start business in their second act. What is the most common fear why or fear they bring you, and how do you help them move through it?
The biggest fear is probably the fear of what other people will think. And,
Yes.
I've been through that. When I left my first career and moved into entrepreneurship, I had those fears too. They're completely normal. And usually, when I'm working with a client, we spend time looking at your past experience and everything that you've accomplished up until this point. And when you really look at that, on paper, writing it down, you can say, wow, okay, I have done a lot. And so, therefore, what other people think is really none of my business. Let me move forward with what I want to do next in this one life I'm given, and everything else will fall into place. So, I think it's when you start thinking of you and the decisions you're making that affect you and your life, and kind of tune out everyone else, then you're able to take those steps forward. And one tip I often give my clients is, don't tell other people what you're building until you're ready. Do your research, start planning, and then you'll get that confidence. Then after then, you can start letting people know what you're doing. But if you tell them too soon, you'll get those naysayers who might be a little worried for you, and you don't want that to cloud your judgment as you work towards your second act.
Definitely. Second act, if a leaders feel like their team meetings are complete waste of time, what is the first small change they can make tomorrow without hiring a facilitator?
I think they can make the meeting really impactful by deciding, what is the one thing I want to accomplish in this meeting. Don't have it be a million things, that one thing that you want to walk away with. And then at the end of the meeting, before anyone leaves, you create exactly what that next step action process is. Who is in charge of it? And then 1 week later, who is going to be responsible for checking in to see where do we stand? So it's one item that we're really talking about, having that one action item follow-up plan, and then making sure that a week later you are following up. I think that is where you can start moving. And also, meetings where there's a million things on the agenda gets very overwhelming. And in our fast paced world, we can't handle too much more on our plates. So I think keeping it streamlined is very beneficial for team leaders.
Definitely. For team leader, you're turning big ideas into clear outcomes. What is your personal process for taking a messy, ambitious vision and breaking it down into something actionable?
It's I think if it's something that I'm working with a potential client on, we have conversations. We have a lot of conversations because if I'm getting hired to work with a team, sometimes we'll work on an event for an hour or 2 hours. Sometimes we work for 3 to 5 hours with a small team to strategically plan the year ahead. And so I want to have several meetings where I really know the people that I'm working with and who's going to be in that room. And I think it comes with that planning ahead of time, having those conversations, creating that relationship again, so that once you get into the room and you're either having the one on one coaching or you're having that facilitation meeting, you are clear on what the outcome is. So every meeting, every facilitation should have that outcome goal. And so I try to be very clear from the get go on how am I going to reach that outcome, and then everything else kind of falls in line to line up for that.
Well said, well said, Miss Shannon. But before we wrap our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season too, a comedy 101 in fourth season, and my Food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Review, Music 101 are in fifth season. Science 101, Sex 101, fourth season. Trivia 101, Motivation 101. Spiritual Awakening 101, Entrepreneurship 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Coaching 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Shannon, what is the most surprising result you have seen come from out of the Lego Serious Play session? Something you did not expect that fundamentally changed the team.
I think the fact that you can set a goal and then have a reminder to reach it. So oftentimes I will leave the participants with a little model that they can sit on their desk and it reminds them. And when I hear back from someone who took one of my workshops or was at an event I facilitated, and every once in a while I'll get a message where they say, "Hey, like this is sitting on my desk still and it's really helping me to focus on my next goal," that is where it all comes together. And I think just knowing that you do make an impact is what keeps you going.
On Impacting the Summit, Shannon, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your podcast, your business, or anything you want to promote on Entrepreneurship 101?
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, you can learn more about my team building facilitation with Lego Serious Play over at buildbetterteamsconsulting.com. And there you'll be able to also get to my podcast and ways to work with me.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Shannon Russell, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering projects like this to rise. I have one more question, Miss Shannon. Looking ahead, what is your next vision for Build Better Teams? A book, a certification, a live event. What is coming next from Miss
That's a good
Shannon
question.
Russell?
I'm pretty booked with events and hoping to book through for more events within the next year, and really getting the idea of the power of play out there. So, speaking a little bit more on stages about it as well is what I'm really focusing on in 2026.
Well done, Miss Shannon. So, can you please, well, be my guest every time if we have something to talk about, okay?
I would love to, Daniel. This is so much fun.
Please.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, please do come over and over. So, more to come, people. See you soon. Again, Miss Shannon.